Blues Meisters, Eric Andreas, your Guitar Sage here, and friends, welcome to part 2 of Blues Rhythm Guitar Essentials. So yesterday we did part 1 where I taught you all about the 12-bar blues, the construction of it, how to do it in any key that you would like, and then we learned all about how to create seventh chords out of your current set of chords, which literally at a minimum is going to double your chord vocabulary, but really we quadrupled your chord vocabulary with the PDF that I've created for you. That's 31 pages. You can find it in the link of the description of the video. I'll say that many times since we have people coming in and out of the broadcast the whole time, okay? So that's what we did for 1 and 2. 12-bar blues, and we learned how to build seventh chords. So you can take any chord that you got and be able to create a seventh chord. Very important in blues. It gives it that part of what gives it that bluesy sound, right? Now today what we're going to be doing in part 2 is I'm going to be showing you blues, boogie-woogie riffs, licks, if you will, okay? Stuff like this. Stuff like I did right there in the beginning. So instead of just playing a seventh chord, you've got some cool little bits. And we're learning different chords, different places that we can play these chords, so you can add all this in when we're all done. So not only am I going to be teaching those boogie-woogie licks, but I'm also going to be teaching you turnarounds like okay? Turnarounds are those things that basically it's the last 4 measures-ish of a blues progression. It can be different, but basically it's that little bit that you always hear at the end of the chord, at the 12-bar blues chord progression, where you're like, okay, here we go. It's like it's that familiar little bit that lets everybody know, hey, we're going up to the top of the chord progression, so get ready, and the next soloist, get your riffs ready, that sort of thing. So we're going to learn about those today. I've got tabs for you. We're going to be doing a live Q&A afterwards. So usually the lesson itself, yesterday's lesson went about 40 minutes, and then I answered questions for about an hour and 20 minutes after that. We also did a giveaway, membership to a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365, right? So those are the bits and pieces that I have for you today. Yesterday, I made a mistake yesterday, and I like to be as transparent as possible. Yesterday, I said the sale was ending. Yesterday. Why did I say that? Because it didn't end yesterday. It's ending tonight at midnight. But I apologize. Yesterday, I said it was ending at midnight because we almost always do live broadcasts on Thursdays. We've done, I don't know, dozens and dozens, maybe 100. Okay, Thursday has been our day to do these live broadcasts. Well, I recently just started doing live broadcasts on Wednesday as well. We did one yesterday, Wednesday. It was like maybe our second time doing a Wednesday broadcast, and my mind is so geared towards Thursday, and if we do have a sale, it's typically when we end it. So I apologize to you. It didn't end yesterday. It is ending today. We had a bunch of folks get into the program yesterday, which is great. And of course, we still offer a money-back guarantee, so no big deal. Right? Okay, so we're going to start here in just a minute. So how do you win this lifetime membership? Friends, you share the video. I said it yesterday. If you're one of those sharing type of people, if you're one of those giving kind sorts of people, then you will share this, right? And I really, truly appreciate it. It's a way of kind of giving back to me if you feel like I deserve that, and that would be nice. Thank you so much. And if you don't, if you're just a real selfish type of person, then still do it, because you may win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365, a $400 value. We sell for $400 all the live long day, okay? And the very last thing is, the sale does truly end today. I'm sorry I said it was yesterday. It's today. You know why. If you want to take advantage of it, go to www.yourguitarsage.com/practiceaugust, okay? YourGuitarSage.com/practiceaugust. I think this is that's not it. It is, okay, you got it. Thank you. Okay, that's the URL that you're seeing right there on the screen, my friends. Go there because it's literally $200 off of lifetime membership to Unstoppable Guitar System 365. Take advantage of it. We also have a 3 payment option. That's also where you can find, if you just want to test drive it, if you're like, whoa, slow down, pal. I appreciate that you're giving me $200 off today, but I don't know you. And that's okay. There's folks all over the board, coming to get to know me. They've been around for years. There's folks just getting to know me today. First time live broadcasting. For you, welcome. Thank you so much. And if you want to test drive the system, you're just not ready to commit yet, you don't know what's up, then get in there for $1. And after 30 days, before 30 days is up, then cancel if you don't like what you see. You're going to love what you see. But cancel if you don't want to continue. Otherwise, whatever you signed up for is what we'll continue with, right? Like everybody does this on the internet. So with that being said, you know where to go. It's right here. And bottom line, if you don't want anything, you just want free stuff, go to YourGuitarSage.com/30. It's the top 30 of those lessons, the first 30 lessons in that entire series. Otherwise, if you want 1,000-something videos and you want nearly 600 jam tracks and you want 2 live broadcasts from me every month, not including these are like more where everybody's getting their questions answered, then join that. Okay, so that's it. It's like 3 things. You got the URL, share it, make sure you download the PDF. So by now you should have had time to download the PDF. If not, those on Facebook and those on YouTube, go to the description of the video, click on the PDF, because we're going to be using it today, okay? It's not just whatever. We're really going to be using it. It's 31 pages. I put it together for you painstakingly. There's good stuff in here, okay? So you don't want to leave that behind. And for folks on Instagram, hello, head over to Facebook, YouTube if you can. I know some folks are, listening on their way to work or whatever, and that's cool. That's great. But if you want all that information, go there. All right, without further ado, my friends, we're going to jump into it. So to recap yesterday, basically we talked about the 12-bar blues, which basically the 12-bar blues is the 1, the 4, and the 5 chord of any key. Usually we make those chords 7th chords, and I've got several charts for you here in the PDF that I'm looking at right now, and you're going to see the chords just written out there. But essentially, if you understand this concept of 1-4-5, like I talked about yesterday, and like what's documented inside of the PDF, I want you to go over that because this is just a summary right now. Go over that, watch the video from yesterday. You're going to understand how you literally can identify the 1-4-5 in a split second. I mean, like name a key. Key of B? Sure, I'll play blues in the key of B. You just automatically will know where the 1, where the 4, where the 5 are at instantly. And I mean instantly. It's right there, okay? It's super easy. And then by taking those 7th chords, you'll be able to create these sounds, play chords all over the neck, etc., etc. So we're building a castle here, if you will. We're building a blues castle, okay? Not in the sand, like Jimmy said. It's going to be on rock, okay? And that's what we're doing right now, is we're building a nice solid foundation, okay? So we learn the 12-bar blues, and then we learn the 7th chords, and now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exciting this a bit more, because before, when we were playing our blues, it was something like this. It was like... kind of boring. We want that to be... something like that. I'll get it right. All right, so with that being said, boogie-woogie licks is what we're looking at today, boogie-woogie riffs and turnaround. So the boogie-woogie part is this. So we want that kind of sound now. Make sense? All right, so officially, we're beginning right now learning the new stuff. So what I want you to do is look at the PDF that's in the description of the video on both Facebook and YouTube. Open that up right now. And we're looking at boogie-woogie riffs. That's the chapter, okay? It's the 3rd chapter in, okay? After 12-bar blues and after building 7th chords. So keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Boogie-woogie riffs. I'm not going to read all this stuff to you. Basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what a boogie-woogie riff looks like. You've heard it a lot, right? Right? That's Zeppelin, and a billion other people have played this exact lick, okay? So if you're wanting to just be super, super original, then blues is probably not your style of music, because there's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of stealing from this guy and borrowing from this guy, and everybody's fine with it, okay? Stealing guitar licks, stealing riffs, all, okay? And the chord progression's the same pretty much for every single blues song with slight little variations, okay? So without further ado, let's look at what a basic boogie-woogie riff looks like. So essentially, when we're playing a boogie-woogie riff, it sounds like this. We can vary it, bring that pinky in, okay? And that would represent the A chord. Playing the D chord, we would just move it down to the D. We were playing the E. Or it can be done up the neck further, and I'll show you all about that, okay? So essentially, when we're playing a boogie-woogie lick, we're playing the tonic of the chord. Okay, so if it's an A, it's an A. If you're playing an E chord, the E is the tonic. If it's a D chord, the D is the tonic. So you're always playing that root note, if you will, of the chord. And then you're also playing the 5 of the chord. Okay, the 5 is real easy to follow. We did this yesterday. You play the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the lower strings, it's always down 1 string, up 2 frets. I'll show you. So here's an A. Okay, so watch this. Let's go with this angle here. So if I go, here's an A, open A string. Okay, so it's our 5th string, not our 6th, but our 5th string. So 1 down from the top there. And now, if you wanted to find what the 5 was, this is true for 6th string, 5th string, and 4th string. Once you get to the 3rd string, things start changing. But don't worry about that, because that's not where you're playing rhythm guitar anyhow. Playing on the lower strings. So this rule is pretty universal for what we're talking about. So if you want to find the 5th, what you do is you go down 1 string and you go up 2 frets. 1, 2. So that's the 5th. I'll do that again. Here's an open A. That's the 5th string, not the 6th, but the 5th. And what's going to happen is you're going to go down 1 string and you're going to go up 2 frets. 1, 2, and that's your 5. It's the fifth note of the scale. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just playing it on a different fret. That's all, okay? So that's the 5. And basically what you're going to be doing as a player is you're going to be toggling back and forth between the 5 and the 6 of the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to be going back and forth while you have that tonic playing out. So like this. Okay, now I'm only playing strings 5 and 4. I'm using this finger to mute the other notes. If you're having difficulty with that, then you would really benefit from the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, because it teaches all about muting and how to play your chords and stuff like that. So there's some things I'm assuming that you know already. Obviously, we wouldn't be jumping into blues if it's the first day you've picked up the guitar. You could be, and you could hang, but you're going to need some other stuff. The free course is going to help you, okay? So there's your 1, and there's your 5. Here's your 6. And so basically you're going to strum the 1 and the 5 and the 1 and the 6, and then you're going to go back and forth between those two. Now you saw I just threw a pinky in there, right? Well, in the first Boogie-woogie basic key of A that you're going to see inside the PDF, I don't do that. I specifically don't do that. That's why it's called basic, because I want you to understand that really it's just, we're just doing these 2 fingers. Because at first, bringing that pinky in is going to be a little bit difficult. So that's what we're doing. Okay. Then when we go to the D chord, we're just dropping it down to the bass note of a D, and now I'm playing the 2 inside strings. I'm playing strings 3 and 4. And so you're going slow, we're doing this. Okay. Make sense? All right, so now when you go down to the E is going to be in the bass note, and here's our 5 of the E, remember, because it's the next string down up 2 frets. There's our 5, and there's our 6. It looks the same every single time. That's a real simple boogie-woogie lick, okay? So look at the PDF if you need more help on that. So we can do this in any key. Remember we said we know where the 1, 4, 5 is at. Well, if we're in the key of G, we got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's our 1. The 4 is right underneath it, and the 5 is up 2 frets. Remember that? In order to find the 5, we play it. We start on one particular note. We go down 1 string and up 2 frets, and that becomes our 5. We know that, right? Yeah. Okay, so if we wanted to do this, now the fingering is going to be different, obviously, because before we didn't have to have this first finger down. It was open, so we didn't have to play it. We could do this. But the second we bring in one of these other notes we have to fret, now we got to do something different. So now it's 1 and 3 instead of 0 and 1. Now we're 1 and 3. And if we wanted to put that pinky there, we got to stretch. Okay, if we're on G, it's a little bit easier because the frets are a little bit closer, but still a bit of a challenge. So if we wanted to play that upper note here, we'd have to go, which I don't suggest you doing when you're playing this style. Okay, if you're playing open, it's easy to do. If you're playing further up the neck, it's not really quite as easy to do. In fact, for newbies, it'll be very, very challenging. I'm trying to keep you in the game and get you frustrated, keep you from getting frustrated. So just stick with this, okay? So now here we are in the key of G. And we're just hitting that one time. You could go. Nothing wrong with that. That's just another variation, but I think this one sounds cooler. notice that whatever chord we were at, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, or the 5 chord, the riff was the same. Ring, pinky, ring, pinky, ring, pinky. There's a blues song I wrote called Ring, Pinky, Ring, Pinky. You know? So, and then you move it down to the 4th chord, the 4 chord, and you do the 5 chord, same thing. It's just the same. Okay, so now keeping on going, let's look at another one here. So then we could do some other stuff as well. We've got I've got F, key of F, but let me show you another one here. We can also, so right here, instead of going like, well, this is the 5, the 5th fret, which we could play open. We could play it like this. So I'm muting that 5th string, and we got just the 6th and 4th string playing. So in this case, I could go, which is like going, and then I can hit that guy. Something like that. All sorts of bits and pieces that we can do differently. So, so there's some things that you could do there, say like in the key of G, that's going to be different. Now we can't drill down too far just for time's sake, because I have yet something else to show you called boogie-woogie turnarounds. And those are important too to really create that sound. And I've got them lick for lick in here. Now I'm going to tell you that right off the bat, there's one mistake that I just noticed. I'm going to have to change this PDF because there is one mistake about it. So listen up here. I'm going to tell you. It's in boogie-woogie turnarounds too, by the way. So now I'm in the fourth chapter, Boogie-woogie turnarounds. That's what I'm going to show you next. As far as boogie-woogie licks, look over that chapter. You can ask me questions now in just a minute here when we go to questions. But I do want to show you these boogie-woogie turnarounds. Look, there's a few things that you got to understand. At first, you conceptualize it. Right now, you've done that. There was some aha moments, lights going on for folks saying, hey, oh man, oh, that's how you get that sound. Oh, cool, that's how you figure out what key. All these different bits, right? Revelations going on all throughout the world right now, and that's awesome. But you're really not going to get this stuff unless you drill down to the PDF and those tabs, and you really say, hey, I want to learn this stuff. I want to learn it in all these different keys. With each key that you learn it in and all the riffs, you really are going to understand it more and more. It'd be very, very similar to if there's somebody who you really want to get to know, okay, and you spend one day with them, as opposed to a year with them. If you spent one day with them talking intimately, you'd get to know them really well. If you spent a year talking to them intimately, you would know all sorts of stuff about them, right? So I know that sounds logical to many, and to some, they're still getting that concept. So the more time you spend with this, the better you're going to be, okay? All right, so now we're looking at boogie-woogie turnarounds. This is part 4, or, this is, I should say, chapter 4. And suffice to say, I mean, I would love for you to read this thing after we're done, but suffice to say, a boogie-woogie turnaround is a musical passage that's at the end of the chord progression, okay, which basically leads you back to the top of the chord progression, okay? So it sounds like this. Let's see. So even the untrained ear knows, hey, here it is, we're starting over again. Now, you may have not known that that was the start, but now that I say it, you're probably like, well, that makes total sense. It sounds like it's beginning over again. Or it's at least a seam that is saying this is the entire chord progression, okay? So whatever the case may be, that's what a boogie-woogie turnaround does, and it gets your ear ready, typically for another soloist to go, or more than anything, it just happened in music, and it made it sound really cool, and blues players said, yeah, let's do that. And there's all sorts of different variations for this, okay? The very simple one that I use actually pretty often, I think it just works really nicely, is, and you can find this one, oh, this is where the mistake was, by the way. It's at Boogie-woogie Turnaround's key of A. It's that very first one that goes for 4 measures, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, it's the first 2 measures. The first 2 measures is in, I believe, in the, yeah, it's in the key of E. So that one, I'll tell you the title of it, Boogie-woogie Turnaround's key of A. The first 2 measures are actually in the key of E. I need to correct that, so I apologize. The other ones are in the key of A, though, okay? So here would be some examples. So you hear me do this one a lot. Okay, we got that. So in essence, what I'm doing here is I've got my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and my pinky, ring, and 2nd finger are walking down on the 4th string from the 5th fret on down. So it's kind of like this. I'm going to zoom in here. Sorry about that. Here we go. It's going to look like this. Got my first finger right here, 2nd fret, 3rd string, pinky, 5th fret, 4th string. And essentially, however you play it, it's okay. I'll show you different ways to play this, but basically you're going to do this. So it's going 5, 4, 3, all the while that note's being played. And then I'm barring the last note, which is 2 and 2 on strings 3 and 4. You could also go. Okay, all this takes time, obviously. I didn't learn this overnight. It took me a long time. But it was fun. It was a fun journey, you know, and continuing to learn. Now, let me show you a little trick here. This is an A. So you pretty much, if this is a little trick that you literally could take and bring it to any key and know the turnarounds for any key. If my first finger's on an A, then I can walk this down. Okay? So for instance, if I'm in the key of G, and I know this is a G, I know that because I follow YourGuitarSage, and I know that if this is a G, I can go down 2 strings and up 2 frets. I know that's a G. So if that's the case, and I'm following the rule that Eric just said, every time it'll work, then you know. Whoa, that's super easy, Eric. I know, that's what I'm saying. It's super easy. Here you are doing A. Okay, now we can do a variation on this. You're going to see lots of variations like this. Okay, we can do that as well. That's going from the 4th chord to the 5 chord, and we've got a passing tone in there. That's the passing tone or passing chord. Okay, so easy enough. Now there's other ones like you know. So all sorts of variations here. And of course, that's just in one key. You can do this in several different keys. It does not matter, you know, whatever truly you want to do here. So, all right. So without further ado, those are what are called Boogie-woogie turnarounds. Now, there's a reason that I gave you a PDF, is because there's lots of them and we have them in lots of different keys. And instead of drill down on every single note, when I know you're highly intelligent and I want to save you time, that you can read tablature. If you don't know how to read tablature, here it goes. It's super easy. The numbers are the frets, not your fingers, although those usually coincide. If you don't know what fingers to use, then you haven't gone through my beginner course, which you should, YourGuitarSage.com/30. There's a reason I tell you so much about this, is because it's going to get you situated so where when you're doing these live videos with me, or when you're on YouTube and I'm telling you about stuff, it's not like, I can't do that. It's like, yes, you can, because you watched those 30 videos and now you understand. And it's short. These aren't 1 hour videos, okay? It's short enough to where it's going to keep your attention span, I promise, okay? So with that, without further ado, that's why I'm telling you this in this way, is so you intelligently understand this stuff. So so you've gone through it, you've watched the video on tab, and you know how to read tab now. Basically, those lines are the strings on the guitar. People say to me all the time, why are they upside down? They're not upside down. Think about musical notation. The notes, the dots that are lower on standard musical notation are lower notes. The ones that are higher up on the staff, that means they're higher in pitch. So tablature coincides with that. It'd be really weird to have notes, in musical notation going up while the tab is going down. That'd be weird. So it goes up instead. So the higher notes are higher on the musical staff, and the higher frets and higher strings are up higher in tab. So it's kind of like you're looking at the guitar upside down. But once you understand that concept, that the lower strings are lower in pitch, then it makes things a lot easier, and it takes like a second to undo it, okay? So just remember that. When you're looking at the tab, lower strings, lower in pitch. Think lower on a building, right? So lower levels, and so they're lower in pitch. The higher ones in the building are higher in pitch, okay? And the numbers are the frets. When you see them lined up like that, that means you play them at the same time. Otherwise, they're played in a sequence, and they don't tell you the rhythm. So tablature, contrary to popular belief, is only part of the information. Typically, we use tablature when we can hear and we know a song. Otherwise, you need musical notation, because musical notation tells you, it gives you rhythm, and it tells you how long to hold notes out for, that sort of thing. Okay, so that, my friends, those are boogie-woogie turnarounds. I've given you a slew of them there. Now, for those that are like, dude, I am loving this stuff, I love the blues, then, friends, take advantage today. If you're not going to take advantage of the $200 off that we've got today, because I have a whole section inside of UGS that it's all about the blues. Blues lead, blues rhythm guitar, boogie-woogie licks, riffs, licks, all. And so if you want to take advantage of it today, YourGuitarSage.com/practiceAugust. And if you are still like, there's no way I would spend $200 for anything in my life, then okay, then at least get in there for $1, do a trial of it, see if you like it. If you don't like it, it's okay, get the heck out of there, and you got 30 days of having everything. How fun is that? And I don't mind if you do that. I really don't. I want to help as many people as possible. I also like to pay the bills, the light bills, and the nice camera that I got, so you guys can have 4K video and the whole 9 yards. I like to pay Chris. Chris, you like to get paid? Yeah. Chris likes to get paid. So like it's all, So if we sell something, great. Otherwise, I really am intent on teaching the world how to play guitar. Okay? So let me help you. Take advantage of the free program, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Cool? Cool. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get into some questions. Here we go. I'm bumping over to Facebook, and then I'll pop over to YouTube as well, which for some reason I need to redo that because I see nobody there, and I know people are there. So while I'm waiting, while I'm pulling this up on YouTube, I want my friends on Facebook to start letting me have it with some questions. Okay, so let's do that, and I'll get to those first. So I'm pulling up YouTube as well, because I promised folks that I would be doing that. Okay, if you're on Instagram, hello my friends. Head over to YouTube and Facebook if you want your questions answered. Okay. Okay, live streaming. That's where we want to be. So get those questions ready on Facebook. Well, everybody on Facebook yesterday was pretty quiet, and that's okay. But I just want to get to your question. So maybe that our Facebook folks are more knowledgeable. I don't know. I don't know about that. Hey Chris, are we streaming on YouTube? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got lots of comments. Do you need a hand?
Let me see. I may be able to do it here. Just hang in there, my friends. I want to make sure that I get to all of our YouTube folks. So, yeah, bro, if you would. I'm going to hand you off my keyboard here. Chris is going to get me set up with some comments here. So I'm seeing Blues Rhythm Guitar Essentials Part 1, but not Part 2 there. I apologize. Okay, so while we're waiting for these to come up, real quick, friends, please share this video. How can you share it? You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it on Facebook. I think you can do it on YouTube. But nonetheless, what we do when this whole thing is done is we go back and we look and we pick one winner every single day for a $400 value. Okay, thank you so much, Chris. That's why we have Chris here. I play the guitar. He's the brains of the operation, okay? So thank you, bud. All right, so we got some YouTube right there. Now I see the comments. Thank you, sir. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start here on Facebook. I'm going to scan really quickly. My friends, please remember, always put a question mark because I'm scanning. I'm not reading every single comment. That'd be very difficult, and you wouldn't like it because my attention would be, would be everywhere, okay? Friends, also, if you are in UGS, whether you're in a trial, whether you're doing the 30 lessons, whether you are a member, let folks know whether you like it or not, because I see so many amazing testimonials. I woke up to 18 of them this morning from folks, literally. And so I love that. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like maybe I'm doing the right thing and helping folks to play guitar, but not everybody knows that. So please let folks know in the chat area, if you're happy with the course, okay? Christopher is saying, yeah, is asking folks, thank you so much, buddy, on Facebook. We've got a great community, by the way. Christopher, there's a lot of folks that are in the program, Fiona and Mary Beth, and we've got so many folks that help other people out within the program as well, so they'll answer questions sometimes, which is beautiful. We've got some amazing, must pay Chris, indeed. We have so many great folks inside the program, okay? Hey, Eric, thanks for your efforts. The courses help tremendously. The cage system still is confusing. Okay, so let's address the caged system, okay? Oh, 153 on YouTube, nice. Okay, so let's talk about the cage system, and then Matt will get to my pompadour. Okay, so the cage system goes like this. There are really, truly only 5 open major chords. C, A, G, E, and D. Can you name any others? There's not. There's the F chord, but that's not open. What we mean by open is you've got open strings playing. You don't have to bar anything, and you have open strings playing, okay? So with C, A, G, E, and D, we've got those. If we take those 5 chords and we spell a word, we get cage, C, A, G, E, D. Now the way the system works is basically what it says in a nutshell, and I'm only going to scratch the surface because I have a mega course inside UGS if you're in there already, and if you're not, then you can get in there for $1, right? And if you don't want to ever do anything like that, then I've got a cage system video, maybe 2, on YouTube, okay? Not as much information there, but I got some stuff. Type in YourGuitarSage Caged, C-A-G-E-D, where I go into more detail. Otherwise, I'm going to show you the basics of this here. So we take those 5 forms, okay? This is a form. They're all chords, but they're also forms, because if we take this C chord and we take that form and we play it up a half step, well now this is the C form, but it's not the C chord because I'm changing keys every time, right? So we're thinking about them as forms. So if I want to take any major chord and I want to play it 5 different ways across the neck, which that happens a lot, all the time I'm doing that. Where I need, in fact, I was doing it just now with this blues stuff when I'm going. That's the 7th chord that I'm playing many different ways. Okay, so basically what the cage system says, you could play that chord 5 different ways. You can do this with major, minor, all that I talk about inside the course. But for simplicity reasons here, let's just do major. So here's a C chord. Here's a C chord with a C form. This is a C chord with an A form. Why an A form? Because it looks like our A chord. But I'm going to slide it up to where it's in the key of C. Then if I play the G form, then, because that looks like a G chord, but it has a C in the bass, so it sounds like a C. And if I play the E form, why is it called an E? Because it looks like the E form, but it has a C in the bass, then I get a C chord. And if I go an octave up, and I play this, now I have the D form, but it's still a C chord because I've moved it. This is a D chord, but this is the C. So I play all these chords together. Here's C form, A form, G form, E form, D form. Makes sense? It all sounds like a C chord, but just different variations. If you've ever had chili, does it taste the same every single time, no matter where you go to get it? Whether your grandma makes it or your mom makes it or you make it, is it the same every time? Nope. It's got the basic ingredients in it, which is why you call it a chili or a C chord. So C chord has a C-E-G in it. But if you're just playing C-E-Gs, you can play it all over the neck, many, many different ways, dozens of ways, and it's still a C chord. Okay, so that's what the cage system's all about. More information about that inside UGS, and then on YouTube I've got a video as well. YourGuitarSage. Just search YourGuitarSage Caged, okay? Cool, awesome. Thank you for the testimonials in here. Oh, and also Matt was like, Eric, I try and I try and I try no matter what. I can't get my pompadour like yours. How do I get my hair to look like yours? Matt, you don't sleep much, you eat really well, and well, I'm trying to eat really well. But no, you use pompadour paste like Dapper Dan, or something like that. I use a few different like clays, and really not a lot. It's hardly, but you gotta spray it upside down so that hair sticks up, and then you put the paste in there, and then you can hairspray it if you want. Not that I do all that. I just wake up like this. I don't do that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, of course I do. Eric, could you explain why the boogie-woogie turnaround in the key of A, why the boogie-woogie turnaround in the key of A is in A? That's a great question. Now, Andrew, if you're talking about that first one that I mentioned to you is not in the key of A, then I can't explain why it's in A because it's actually in E. But, you know, essentially basically what a turnaround is doing is it's playing a melody over some chords. So it just works. So let's see. So essentially, over that chord, we're playing a lot of A. It's an A chord, so we're playing a lot of A. And here's why, is that blues loves half steps. Okay, it loves going like. So a lot of half steps in blues. We love that sound. And here we've got this A that's being pedaled. And it's walking down. It's like this. The last note that we end up on is an E, which is the chord that we land on the second we play that note. So here's A chord, as represented by that. That's an A chord still. A chord still. Now here, that's an E note, and so we got an E chord. So basically, that A is representing the A chord, the E is representing the E chord, and that little walk down is saying, hey, get ready, here comes the E chord. And that's essentially what the 12-bar blues does, or what the boogie-woogie turnaround does in all keys. Essentially, it points back to the 1 chord and the 5 chord in some way or another, okay? Okay, good. Oh, Travis, I'm quiet because I know most of my problems just require practice to overcome them. Travis, ah, and the angels sang, and then the light came down on Travis because he's so flippin' smart, because he knows that really it's about practice. It's all about practice. Yes, you do need instruction. You need good instruction so that you can be shown what to do. That helps so that you're not sitting there trying to do everything yourself, like Hendrix did and Eddie Van Halen. Now, those guys didn't turn out so bad. But for all the other people that didn't have instruction, where they just thought they just were bad at guitar, that's not the truth at all, you know? So it's just a matter of having good instruction and then practicing. Ryan's saying the difference between distortion and overdrive, there's really not a difference. The more sophisticated players will say, I like overdrive. But really, they love distortion. Now, distortion is typically thought of, if I'm using the word correctly, colloquially. I don't know if that's right. I shouldn't even say such words if I don't know what they mean. But basically, in regards to guitar, when people say distortion, they mean overdrive, but yet it's kind of intended that distortion is more overdrive. That overdrive is thought of as kind of being like that's overdrive. Whereas distortion would be, if I were to really, and even that is still overdrive, but just think about it as more aggressive sounding, okay? John's in the chorus. Beautiful. Thank you, John. Thank you for the kind words. Eric, would it be better to learn on a 6-string first or bass? Or does it really matter? Eric's courses are amazing and so helpful no matter what your experience is. Thank you so much, Betsy. Learn on a guitar. A bass is great. Love bass. I have them. I play them. I love them. But it's just a different instrument. The strings are much thicker. You aren't playing chords on them. The notes are the same, that sort of thing. But really, it's just a different instrument, okay? Brian, I've been looking for some slide instruction and noticed that there are several open tunings. Do those tunings correspond to the keys that the songs are in? Brian, typically, yes, typically. So, you know, that riff, which would be nice with slide, you know, like, then that open G, that song's in the key of G, right? Bad to the bone. And so yes, that happens a lot of times because it's nice. That nice open sound is what we want in the tonic. So you're doing all your bits and pieces, then you're coming down there and it sounds great, you know. George did a 365 guitar stretch lesson this morning. Hands are on fire. Love it. All right, nice. So we got some testimonies over there. Testimonials. All right, I'm heading over to YouTube now, my friends. Okay, so I would love to answer some questions there. And again, I'm looking for question marks. Otherwise, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to really see your questions. Okay. Okay. Great. And we've got a lot of folks over at YouTube right now, so these are fast. All right, coming to Nashville in November, where's the best place to see live music? My favorite place is Robert's Western Wear. It's on Broadway, and they sell some clothes, but I've never bought anything there. Jeff, get the lifetime membership now and avoid the rush. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate that, buddy. Any chance of giving away your SG? Not anytime soon, Luke, but I am giving away one of my Les Pauls coming up, probably around the Christmas time, I'm thinking, okay? Robert's Western is a great place to hear great old school country music. If you want new school, you're going to have to hit a different bar, but that's the old school country music, and that's the only country music that is real. Oh, did he say that? Yeah, I said that. It's the roots of country music. I don't know what some of the kids are doing now. There's some good stuff out now, but there's some crap too, you know what I'm saying? All right, best hybrid picking exercises. Lauren, I do a little bit of hybrid picking, a little bit, not enough to be an expert, so I would say that I'm not probably the expert for it. Otherwise, I'll show you what one that I like to do is, this is from Holiday Road by Lindsey Buckingham. You know, you heard that one? Okay, and actually. I think it's in the key of E. So I like this one a lot because basically what I'm doing is, now hybrid pick is when we use our pick, but we also use our fingers, okay? A lot of country guys do this, like Brad Paisley, Brent Mason, guys like that. So what we're doing is I'm going... Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm picking the low E with my pick. I'm picking the D string with my ring finger. I could do it with my second finger, I guess, my middle finger. Here I'm barring strings 2 frets 2 on strings 4 and 5, and so it's just like a power chord. And then I'm doing this. I'm going, and then the lick is. So I'm playing 3, hammering 4, and then picking the 2nd fret of the 5th string with my pick. I won't go into too much detail other than that, because really to truly teach you this, you're going to need more help. It's going to take a little bit, you know what I mean? You probably could find the tab on Ultimate Guitar, but you know. Here's what it would look like closer up. Okay, and you can find more detail about that if you go to YouTube and type in YourGuitarSage Holiday, and you'll find that for Holiday Road. Okay. I'm learning bending. When I bend a string a whole step, on my way back, my finger plays one of the above strings. What am I doing wrong? Rahan, what you're doing is you're grabbing one of the strings when you do that bend. You need to not do that. You just need to bend. Don't grab the string. It's getting caught in the crease of your finger there, and you're pulling it down. Want to start bass, don't want to spend more than $400 on a whole rig. Any suggestions, Luke? Luke, on a whole rig, I would say spend the money on the guitar, on the bass, and then take a cable and plug it into like your favorite stereo system, or if you have a, if you have powered speakers, plug it into your mixer. Otherwise, I don't have any suggestions for you, because I just, I love Fender stuff. I love Fender basses. A good, cheap Precision, or a cheap, better yet, a jazz bass would be what I would do. Thrash Metal said Craigslist. Indeed, Craigslist. Always get things used, or I should say always get things used. I always get things used because you typically get them for half price of what you would play in the store, I did 365 alternate picking exercises for an hour tonight before this live show. Great lesson. My fingertips are feeling the burn. Beautiful. I understand and can play the 12-bar blues, but I still can't get it to sound bluesy. Any suggestions? Caleb, yeah. If you haven't already, download the PDF that we have for today and add the blues turnarounds. Add the boogie-woogie licks, okay? Add the alternative chords that I talk about. If I'm playing an A7, well, this is an A7 too, also. So is this, so is this, so is this, and this. So, all different ways to do it. Plus you add your turnarounds. Are you shuffling it? You should also be, make sure you're shuffling it and make sure you're using that boogie-woogie for sure. That'll help a ton, Mark's asking, Eric, whatever happened to the guitar build? Have I missed the information? Just curious. Thank you for what you do. Mark, my guy, is working on it. He is actually rebuilding his shop right now, so he's expanding. So this has been a little bit of a slowdown in our process. And but if it were me, I would have it yesterday. But he's going slower than we would like, which is unfortunate. Hopefully hopefully we'll still use him. He's a good guy, and he knows what he's doing, but he's taking a while on his store, which is important, right? He's not in business for me, but at the same time, we would like to have a guitar. So we're doing what we can do. The sooner the better. But I also want it to be right. I don't want quick. I want right. I got plenty of good guitars. Okay, Josh, in your free 30 lessons, sometimes you say AG, sometimes you say EG. Does that mean that all your lessons are compatible for both AG, EG? A friend says they require different skills. Is that true? I don't know what you mean by AG, EG. I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. You're going to have to let me know, Joshin, because I don't know specifically what you mean. The first 30 lessons are basically to teach you the basics of guitar, regardless of key. So it has nothing to do with key. If you mean AG and EG are those specifically for those keys, then no. The first 30 is not key specific. Okay. The 9 essential chords that I show you they work better in the key of G and the key of C, but that's not by design. That's because I'm showing you the easiest chords, and the easiest chords are in those two keys. But it's not specifically supposed to be for a specific key. Okay. Okay, great. What artists use the different blues voicings? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Zachary, but that's a real generic statement. So like all blues artists use different blues voicings, all of them, okay? That's what makes them sound different than the other blues artists, Okay, Polaris, Sage, David Doob here. Faithful member making great progress in only 6 months. Love it. Currently playing on a Yamaha acoustic. It seems blues sounds better on electric guitar. Your thoughts? You demand. Thank you, buddy. I love acoustic blues. I really, really do. Would I rather be playing it on an electric? It depends. If I'm soloing and that sort of stuff, then yes. But if I'm just playing like chords and what have you, nope. Like rhythm style, like what we've talked about today and yesterday, I love the acoustic guitar and I'm fine with just using that. I keep looking over here because my SJ200's over here. So, hey, how you doing? So I love acoustic, But it's fun on electric, especially when you're planning on breaking out a lead, Eric looks like James Hetfield. I get that a ton. Guillermo is saying, can you give some tips to properly hold the pick? Yeah, I will. Guillermo, so most people will hold the pick between their first finger and their thumb. That's what you want to do too. Eddie Van Halen, you guys don't probably know who he is, but he held his pick like this the wrong way. Well, Eddie turned out to be a not so bad guitar player, holding his pick the wrong way. So with that being said, do whatever's comfortable for you, but what I would suggest you doing is not holding the pick like this, and that's between the thumb and the first knuckle of the first finger. Reason being is you don't have a lot of control over it that way. You can do it. Michael, the PDF is in the description of the video. Click on it and grab that, okay? So, you don't want to hold it like that. That would be my suggestion. You should be holding it between your thumb and maybe one of the other fingers. That's probably the best way that you can do it because you're going to have more control over it like that way, okay? So, Luke was wanting some Metallica there, right? Would sound a lot better if I had a humbucker pickup and some overdrive and a big stack and Marshalls behind me and stuff, but right now I don't have that, so yeah. Okay, great. Eric, what video do you have that I can watch if I'm just starting to learn blues? Shannon is saying. Shannon, on YouTube, just search YourGuitarSage Blues. Otherwise, Shannon, you've come to the right place because here's the deal. Watch the video yesterday. You're using the same PDF as today. Learn the basic rhythm guitar, blues rhythm first, and then learn lead guitar. And luckily for you, we'll be doing that next week, so you'll have a whole week to start working on this stuff. Okay? Make sense? Okay, so that's what you want to do. Otherwise, on YouTube, type Your Guitar Sage Blues. Anything that you're looking for, if you're looking for instruction from me, type in Your Guitar Sage and whatever it is you're looking for. Your Guitar Sage Blues, Your Guitar Sage Clash, Your Guitar Sage Sweep Arpeggios, that sort of thing. Okay? Cool. All right. Great questions. Great questions. Otherwise, if you're in UGS, I have a whole blues course within UGS for both lead, rhythm, all. Okay? All right, beautiful. Jeff, metal is my thing. I mean, like master, yeah. That was my thing. I grew up with Metallica and Def Leppard and Aerosmith and Dawkins and all those. That was like my thing. Malmsteen, George Lynch, like all those guys, my favorite. You know, a Floyd Rose versus a hardtail. Luke is saying, well, it depends. If you love to have a nice floating vibrato system like old school 80s stuff, and you're totally fine with dealing with a Floyd Rose when you have to change strings or break a string or that sort of thing, then go with the Floyd Rose. If you're not 80s, I say don't get a Floyd Rose and just get like a standard, like a Wilkinson or just whatever comes on your Strat. Learn how to keep your Strat in tune. I have videos for this both in the course and YouTube. Get together with a luthier that can tell you how to keep your Strat in tune. Otherwise, if you don't use the wang bar at all, then hardtail means that's what we got. You know, there's nothing, we can't change the pitch other than bending. You know? So, yeah. I think sometimes the whammy bar can get in the way because folks, they grab it and think that it's going to sound really cool and not necessarily. You know what I mean? Okay, good. Make sure you're putting question marks after your questions, my friends. Is it hard to change strings on an electric versus an acoustic? Andrea, no, not necessarily. If the electric guitar has a tremolo system, like a Fender Stratocaster, or like we just talked about, like on some of the 80s guitars where you've got the bar here, then those can be, because you've got springs in the back that are compensating the pull or you got springs in the back that are counter compensating. Is that even correct? They're counter pulling the strings, and so when you tighten the strings, the springs get, they give, and so you're constantly tuning. Otherwise, no, not really. It's not that big of a difference, John's going to see Def Leppard and Journey tomorrow. Oh, yeah, they're coming through Nashville as well. And I think like any day now as well. So you may be here in Nashville, John. But I would like to see them. I still have not seen them. Isn't that crazy? Def Leppard was my favorite group. I was listening to them last night. They were my favorite group. Great. Okay, scanning. I'm going to jump over to Facebook really quickly and see if we got any questions here. All right. George is loving the 365 program. Real quick, friends, while we're waiting for questions on Facebook, share this. YouTube, folks, Instagram, Twitter, any place that you can share it, my friends, because that will put you in the hat, if you will, that we pull. If you do this every day, you're going to win a $400 program from me eventually, right? So we're giving one away today, $400 program. So make sure you join me for that. Okay? By sharing this, that's what you want to do. Okay? That's what I mean by joining me. Share it. Is there a real Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, or is that name a fiction? No, there is a real Bluebird Cafe. I've played there several times, 2 or 3 times now. My wife just played there again the other night. I would have played with her, but she didn't ask me to play, which is good because she is being more and more. She's an amazing guitar player. Amazing songwriter, but she just historically didn't like playing out live. Now she's playing out live. She doesn't need me anymore. It's good. That's a good thing because I got other stuff to do. but I like playing the Bluebird. It's cool. It's a nice place to go, and it's hard to get into, and it's expensive, and the food's terrible, and there's some good writers that play there. It's just kind of become a thing in Nashville. But only because it's a thing, not because it's like some amazing venue with amazing sound and super kind people. None of that. But, I mean, it's okay. They're okay, nice. Fender has a nice practice amp, so you can try it out to make sure you like the bass. Okay, cool. Pedro is saying, hey, Eric, can you help me with the difference between pickups and what styles are best served for them? Humbuckers versus P90s versus lipstick versus single coil. Thanks for all you do. You're welcome, Pedro. So really, there's a couple different types of pickups, and they can all be broken down into, really, there's humbuckers and there's single coil, okay? Now, acoustic guitars have something called piezo. Sometimes they have microphone systems, but if we're talking electric guitars, there's humbucker, there's single coil. Humbuckers are just humbuckers. There's not a lot of variations to those other than the pickups themselves, who makes them, how much output it is, that sort of thing. But when it comes to single coils, you've got single coil Strat types, and then you've got single coil P90s. These are single coils. That's why they sound like that. It's kind of a thinner sound, but it sounds really cool. And then you've got which P90s are basically single coils, but they're wrapped. There's more winds and over the coil. And then P100s, like that were in the Les Paul special that I gave away this weekend. If you didn't join us for that, you missed $6,000 worth of goodies, plus a great lesson and Q&A. You got to join us for those. YourGuitarSage.com/live for future ones. But with that guitar, we that had P100s in it, which are stacked on top of each other. It's basically like P90s stacked on top of each other. Lipstick pickups are typically single coil, but just with like a little covering over it. I have my Dan Electro in the other studio has a couple of them, if not one. I think it just has one in there. And that's a single coil as well, but it's got the covering over it. And they have a certain sound. So lipstick is usually what we refer to as like Dan Electro pickups, but other people have adopted that as well. And they have their own sound to them just because it's Dan Electro and they created their own pickups. So humbuckers are more for harder output music, hard rock and that sort of thing, whereas the single coils are more for blues. Can be used for rock as well, but typically music that doesn't need as much overdrive and then is really looking for a little bit more character. Earlier, Josh, notice the lesson, sometimes you use AG, EG. Does that mean that all your lessons, okay, a friend of mine says it's different. Okay, so Shelly's asking that question again. Yeah, Shelly, I don't know the answer to that because I don't know what he's asking, AG, EG. I don't know what that means. How does Billy Gibbons go from playing the rhythm part to the slide, solo, and tush? All the YT videos teach one or the other, but not both. Brian. Well, remember, Brian, when you're in the studio, you have the opportunity to say, okay, that was a good solo. Let's go get a sandwich, and I'll continue the rhythm part later. So you have the option to do that when you're in the studio because you're recording one piece at a time. You're building, building, building. This is something that I want to cover inside UGS eventually here, and probably will soon. But, okay, Shelly, I'll answer that in a minute then. Thank you so much. But live, this is why I like it, the rare times that I do play slide, I like to use my third finger because it allows me to still be able to play some chords. Like if I wanted to play a C chord here, I could. If I wanted to play a G chord, I could do that. Or an E7, or a D, or an A. So I can play all these chords while still having the slide in my hand. So let's see. Let's see. So I'm not the slide player that you want to be learning slide from. I have a course for it inside UGS, but I cover the basics, okay? I'm not a great slide player. But you can see that, you know, he can do all that slide stuff and still play those rhythm parts if he has it on the right finger, on the correct finger, okay? Oh, a bunch of questions just came in. So yeah, so he meant acoustic guitar or electric guitar. No, you could use it for either. And anybody that says that you couldn't doesn't know guitar, because a G chord looks like this on the electric, but on the acoustic it looks like this. And an A chord looks like this on the electric, but on the acoustic it looks like this. And a strum on the electric looks like this. And on the acoustic it looks like this. Okay, everything's the same. The music theory is the same. The chords are the same. Now later on, you start getting to advanced type things, then yes, you may want to. I could still teach it on the acoustic. I could teach you electric stuff on the acoustic and acoustic stuff on the electric. I could do either. But if you're actually going out and playing it, yes, their electric guitar might be better for certain options. But you'll see me in the course. Sometimes I'm playing electric, sometimes I'm playing acoustic, and that just means, hey, this is probably going to work better on that. Okay? Make sense? Okay. Cool. All right. All right. Jeff's on Facebook and YouTube. Good. Okay. Great. Okay. Excellent. Okay. I'm understanding now. By watching both on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, are we cheating? Facebook would like you to believe so. Yes. But you're not. Okay. All right. Oh, thanks, Jeff. Well, I really, truly do not feel like a great slide player. I can cover some basics, but that's about it. Great stuff. John is saying, I'm an older beginner, 67, have a bunch of arthritis in a couple of hands. I used to have it too. That's why my hands are deformed. Not anymore. Not since I cut out animal products. That's the day it went away. Animal products. That's what it was for me. It's what it is for a lot of folks because they have inflammation. Grains are not good for you either. Trust me, I've been down the road. I've eaten lots and lots of grains. I've done a lot of studying on it. It is inflammatory. Anyhow, don't get me started on that. Here we go. Particularly with my Yamaha acoustic, which has rather high action, not so bad with my Squire Strat, which has been set up by a pro. Have you seen the demo videos on the Jamstick? Would this be easier? I did a demo for the Jamstick, and would it be easier? Yeah, it would be a little bit easier, John, but it's not like playing guitar. It's more like it's a tool that you might use when you're not playing guitar. But no, John, you want my advice? Eat more vegetables, eat less of that stuff I mentioned. Cut out the grains, all that, and have your arthritis go away. Just play guitar, you know. Otherwise, you know, you're going to have to do whatever you need to do for your arthritis. But no, it's not really a replacement, you know. Okay, great. All right, heading back over to YouTube now because I've kind of abandoned those kids here. So I'm going to get to whatever questions I can get to right off the bat. Do you ever experience stage fright? If so, how do you overcome it? Great question, James. I just had a course that we did this weekend that was all about practice. And one of the things that I gave away was some videos. And we talked about playing out live. And so have I ever experienced stage fright? Yes. And I'd say every time I stepped up on stage, for the most part, there was at least some. Sometimes it was a lot. And what did I do? Well, I did run because I knew I needed to get on that stage. So that's what I did. If I ever made a mistake, which I did, I acted like I did and I just kept going. And really, for me, mentally, what I said to myself so many times that it actually sank in is I said, if I mess up a chord or a note, will anybody die? You guys are laughing, right? But ask yourself, well, then why are you so nervous? Like, what's going to happen if you get on stage? Let's say you get up there and you totally mess it up. By the way, my biggest mess up, and it wasn't my mess up, it was somebody else who was playing with us who I think he had to have been high, and I know that because he's like high always, but he's a great musician, and if he's high always, he plays great always. So I don't know what the excuse was, but he was playing all the wrong chords where I was playing all the right chords, and it sounded like a train wreck. And he decided to join in around the first verse. So this lasted for a good 2.5 minutes in a not so intimate, I'm joking, venue called the Bluebird. It's extremely intimate. You're in the center of the room and everybody's around you. And it's not high up on a stage. You're sitting on chairs and it's just, you can hear everything. And he was hitting all the wrong chords for like 2.5 minutes. And dear Lord, Jesus in heaven, help us, because it was terrible. And all the industry folks were there too, and it was just like, oh my God. So that's the worst that can happen. And guess what? I'm still here today, and I'm rocking along, and things are fine. So that's about the worst that's going to happen. What do you do if you mess up? You just keep going. Nobody died that day, which is great, and I didn't quit playing guitar. So basically, you're going to mess up on stage. It's okay. Everybody does. The pros do. I see it all the time. You can look for videos for anybody who you love messing up on stage. There's a great one of Stevie Ray Vaughan breaking a string. His guy comes out, puts a guitar on him right in time to keep going, and it was absolutely amazing. So everybody messes up in some ways or another, okay? Don't worry about it. So tell yourself over and over again what's going to happen. For me, if you're of drinking age, personally for me, I like to have one beer before I go on stage or one shot just to take off the edge so I'm not so serious. That's what I do personally. And then other than that, just having fun, just being like, it's all about fun, and not trying to overthink what I'm playing. Not trying to overthink it, okay? Okay, in your opinion, if humbuckers are used for more heavy, meaty styles, why do you think Gibsons use humbuckers in their 335s? Because that's just a sound. It's just a sound that came about. Remember, metal didn't happen until much later. So it was more just like, hey, this guitar works through this amp and it sounds awesome. Because if you think about it, when the Les Pauls came around in the 50s, there was no heavy metal. There was no heavy music. It was like blues and, well, think about the 50s. I mean, that was all pop, really. So much of the stuff that we're used to is pop. So it really doesn't have so much to do with heavy, because you can take a 335 and I can make it sound just like blues or just like pop. It also depends on the pedals and the amps that you're going through as well, Jimmy's saying he just woke up. Can I start over? Okay. Steve, so how do you get better improvising over the 12-bar blues, not forget where you are in the progression? Steve, that's a great question. This is how I teach it inside the courses, is that I've got what are called visual jam tracks. So we have nearly 600 jam tracks inside the system, but we've also created what are called visual jam tracks, where you see the chord, it comes up, you see the whole chord progression, and you see, okay, here's the A chord, here's the A chord, here's the D chord. Here's the D chord, here's the D chord, here's the E chord. And you see just when the chord changes, and it allows you to keep up with it. By doing that, you understand the chord progression, you're able to play with it. And then I have a whole section called Minimalistic Blues. I have one video on YouTube under the same name, Minimalistic Blues. You can search for that. And so I teach you how to take small sections of the neck, right? People, they go and they learn all these different forms of the blues scale, and then they wonder why they suck on the blues scale. Well, it's kind of like reading the dictionary and not practicing a sentence. You're going to know all these definitions, but you're not going to know how to speak. My child can speak really well. He's yet to crack open a dictionary. So what I suggest is learning one section of the neck. And just learning that one little section and extrapolating as much love and as many licks and cool vibey stuff out of that one place, because you'll really get to know it, okay? As if you can think about your scales as being like a classroom of kids. If you're a teacher, you got to learn to get to know these kids, right? Well, that's how you would do it. You spend some time with just one. How you doing? How are things at home? Da-da-da-da-da. You get to know that one kid. Otherwise, you just got a handful of kids, or you got a classroom of kids and they're running amok. Otherwise, you got to get to know them, right? Or friends or anything else in the same way. You got to get to know them by asking questions and getting to know them. Yeah, okay, cool. CBD, topicals. Yeah, that's good for arthritis as well. Okay, Celeste. I feel a lot better when I went vegan too. Yes, indeed. Indeed. I feel gazillion times better. Okay. Oh, David, you asked that question earlier and I answered it. What's up? What's up with you, man? Did you miss it? Why do you mean lay off the grains? Bad for you? I thought whole grain was better. I know, we always did. Yep. Yeah, read The Plant Paradox. Okay, The Plant Paradox, that's a great book. We'll tell you all about that stuff. I won't go into it right now because I'll polarize the room in a split second, as if I were talking about politics or religion. 50s wiring or modern wiring on a Les Paul? Den, I couldn't tell you the difference, to be quite honest with you. Now I have a what is it, a 58 reissue, so that's what I'm used to. And then I have a modern one, and the wiring's no different from what I can tell. So you'll have to drill down. What do you mean specifically? What wiring difference between modern or 50s? If you might jar my memory. Surely I've heard something about it before, but I've got a modern one and I've got a 50s one, and they're the same wiring wires, so you'll have to let me know. How can you pick the strings without getting pick stuck occasionally? That's really, Des, that's just really truly about practice, okay? It's truly about practice. And exercises. I've got exercises for you. Check out the exercises in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, okay? I like bands who punk out the 50s sounds like the Ramones, ? You asking me, Jeff? I don't know. What is the date today, Sage? I don't know. I don't know what the date is today, my friend. Willie tends to play nothing on the beat. It must be extremely difficult to play with him. Robert's saying, Willie, I don't know anything, Robert, I don't know anything about that Willie doesn't play on the beat. I wonder if that's a new thing or what, but I don't know anything about that. Okay, great. Bumping over to Facebook here real quick. Okay, nothing on Facebook. Great. Okay, more questions. How far, where are we at here? We are on 12/22. It's August the 30th, by the way, someone asked. How about John Prine? How about him? What's you got a question there? Let me know, William. How do the modes and blues connect? Jeff is saying. Jeff, you typically don't use the modes inside of blues. Typically, modal playing is for specific types of music. It's often used in jazz, and what I mean by that is there are a lot of embellished chords in jazz. So there are chords that naturally occur via the diatonic scale or the major scale. I cover those inside the course. I cover them inside videos on YouTube. I won't go into the detail, but effectively in a major key you have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. And that is for the most part how, I say for the most part, that is how the major scale dictates what the chords are going to be. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Okay? But now when it comes to jazz, what we can do with any one of those chords is we can insert a chord that's minor in sound, but yet has a different flavor. So maybe it's a minor 7 chord, or maybe it's a minor 6 chord. And what happens is that bringing that 7th in there, that flat 7, or if it's a minor 6, bringing that 6 in there, what it does is it brings a new spice or a new flavor. And what jazz players say is they say, well, that new note's in there, I'm going to exploit that note. And so they play some sort of scale that accents that chord. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. John Prine, Willing, I see a lot of question marks, just one question, just a question mark, and then I'm seeing names with question marks, so let me know. Oh, play something by him. I don't know anything by John Prine. Sorry. Okay. Any speaker suggestions to plug a bass into or guitar into? No, you know, those Rocket speakers, ROKIT, are really good sounding for their price and their power themselves, so that would be a suggestion, and everybody seems to love those. I've had some. When exploring new chords, Darren on YouTube is saying, besides the tone and mood, what deems a chord as minor? Is there a formula or making B minor like there is for seventh chords? Indeed, Darren. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the tone or the mood, although those are byproducts of it. It has everything to do with the formula of the chord. So if we take our major scale and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, well, a major chord is made up of the 1, the 3, and the 5 of that scale. And so if I play a G chord, I'm playing only 1s, 3s, and 5s from that G major scale. If I wanted it to be minor, I'd play 1, flat 3, so here's our 3, here's our flat 3, and here's our 5. So now, and so if I played a G minor chord, it would sound like that. So that's the difference. And I cover that extensively inside of UGS when I'm talking about chord construction. I have a whole section of it. In fact, several sections of it. One where I'm using a whiteboard with different colored markers that say this is the 3, this is the 5, this is the 1 to get in your head to understand that. And then I have other bits where I'm showing it to you on the guitar. Okay. All right, that was a great question, by the way. Oh, wow, Troy, you're saying Billy Gibbons used solid-state amps on the entire Eliminator album. Huh. I believe it, Troy. This is how I feel about that stuff. I get people all the time say, you got to have tubes, you got to have this, you got to have the other thing. Now, I'm a big fan of tubes. I'm going to grab a tube amp any day of the week before I would a solid-state amp. With that being said, I've had solid-state amps that I could get decent sounds out of, good sounds even, by messing with them enough, using pedals, this, that, and the other thing. The reason that people like tube amps so much is they're so responsive. So this is an emulator. This is a solid-state amp I'm using right now. But it's also an emulator, so it emulates tubes. So if I play, and that's nice and responsive, so depending on how hard I hit the strings, I can get different overdrives and that sort of thing. But with that being said, it was the 80s. Eliminator is a great album, and it sounds very electronic almost, but not so much the guitars, but everything they're doing with programming stuff. So I could see where maybe he would do something like that. That's pretty cool. Thanks for adding that. That's cool. Do I learn tabs or work it out for yourself? Christendom is saying. Christendom, I do both. Usually I try to learn stuff by ear first because to me, I've got to go online, I got to look up the tab, I got to assume that it's accurate or do some, trial and error myself, those sorts of things. So I typically don't like going to tabs first. I try to work it out myself. I trust my ear more than I do maybe some other people's ears. But then what I will do sometimes is I'll go and I'll check out a tab to see, because sometimes I found that when I trusted my ear, somebody else figured it out better than me, and then I was wrong, and so I was able to learn something. So good to be open about that sort of thing. So I do both, but I try to work it out myself first. Okay. Is there a blues lick? Oops, I lost it. Is there a blues lick you do that you know will impress guitarists? Jeff, no, I don't know of anything that I know that will impress guitarists. I just play, and I guess what I'm saying is there's all sorts of guitar players. So I could do this, which is pretty simple. And some people are going to get real excited about that, and other people are going to be like, so what? So it just depends. If guitar strings get rusty, are they still playable? Rihan, yeah, they are. You can boil them. You can take them off your guitar and you can boil them, and it will actually bring some of the what's called tinsel. Tinsel, it's their stretchability. It'll bring some of that back to it, and it will liven up the strings. I read that in an interview with Eddie Van Halen. He used to do that when he was poor and couldn't afford guitar strings. I don't know where he learned it from. Okay. We have 8 and 12 bar blues, but blues players like Lightning Hopkins, Hooker seem to break these rules and play any number. Question is, how do you know when to break the rules? Wolf, you break the rules when you want to break the rules. It's not like there's a reason to break the rules. You just do it, okay? Literally, it's like painting, and you say, you know, I'm not going to paint the sun yellow today. I'm going to paint it pink. And that's all it is, you know. Who won UGC yesterday? I don't know what that is, Richard. Sorry. What is that? If you mean a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System, then then I don't know. You'll have to go back. You will if you win. We're gonna let you know. I don't remember everybody's name who wins. We've given so much stuff away I would never remember. Okay. Can you give as the riff of the blues played by Slash and B.B. King? Can you give us the riff? I don't know what that means, Riot. I'm sorry. You'll have to rephrase that. Okay. Have you heard other blues teachers say never start your solo on the one? Any thoughts? Robert, I've never heard that in my life. Never start your solo on the one. Nope. No, I have not heard that. Maybe I need to hear that because I started on the one a lot. I think it's a great sound to at least say, hey, here we are. This is where we're starting off. Now, it depends. If there's a turnaround, you know, in the beginning, then automatically that's going to tell you what key you're in. But I don't stay on it long, but I'll go, you know. So if it's like... That's the one right there, and I don't know why they would say don't do that. Never heard it. Is it have nothing to do with blues you teaching as? I don't know what that means, Ryan. I'm sorry, or Riot. I'm sorry. Your spelling is better than most Americans, or many Americans, at least the YouTube Americans. But no offense, YouTube Americans, but just people with the spelling sometimes gets out of hand. I don't know what it means sometimes. I want to help them badly. I'm looking. Isn't your Kemper solid state? It is. It is solid state, and it sounds amazing. I love it. Hope I'm asking this correctly. When phrasing, soloing during 12-bar blues, are you always in the E scale when playing A and B chords? You don't have to be, William. For instance, I could go, let's see, if I was playing... So there I went into A blues, you know, and I could, for the B, I could do... So we definitely could, over the E chord, over the A chord, play A blues, over the B chord, play B blues. And in fact, the first band I was in, within like a week of me being there, they said, hey, we're in the studio, by the way, and we really need you to complete some solos and that sort of thing. And I was really excited and scared at the same time. First time I'd been in a professional studio, and the solos that I put down were kind of bluesy, and that's what I did, is I actually followed the chord around because I was just learning about music. And I didn't know. I thought that's the way you did it, and that's what I did. But I don't do that much anymore, unless I'm wanting to change things up. When buying a used guitar, are there important things one needs to check, and how to generally check for faults? Rahan, what you can do is just like kind of eye the guitar. Make sure you don't see any cracks. When you're looking down the neck, it shouldn't be warbled. It shouldn't be like bent. There should be just a very, very, very slight arch in the guitar, in the neck. But other than that, you're just like, use your common sense. But to know all those bits and pieces, watch videos 1 and 2 of the free course. Obviously inside UGS, those sorts of bits and pieces too, those places. But check inside the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, where I specifically cover that right out of the gate. Any advice for an aspiring guitar player who's looking to get into the music business? Zachary. Yeah, Zachary, put your head down and literally get the best that you can get at your instrument. And then if there's some guys in your town, guys and girls in your town, get better than them. And if you live in a small town, move to a big town and get better than those guys. What you want to do is you want to not worry about someone discovering you. Because if you're good enough, someone's going to discover you. I mean, you got to have a video on YouTube or something. You got to do something to market yourself, get out there and play live and stuff. But so many people are like, gosh, I just really need some contacts. I'm so good. I'm such a good writer. I'm such a good player, but I just need some contacts. That's my problem. That's not your problem. Because if you were good enough to be signed and be put on an album, this, that, and the other thing, there has to be something about you that they know they're going to make money on you, slam dunk. That's it. And I know that sounds really mean, but that is just the truth. So if it's mean, then you're putting your own spin on it. It's just the truth. You come to Nashville here, we got tons of people who are amazing, and it will make you come up to a new level. But if you're not willing to step up to that level, you're going to get lost in the cloud of millions of guitar players. The best ones rise to the surface. So that's what I'd say to do, Zachary, is just get as good as you possibly can be as a guitar player. Do a little bit of marketing, get out there and play, those sorts of things. Maybe start a YouTube channel, start getting your YouTube videos up, Instagram, all that stuff. But focus on your playing. That's the big one, you know. Oh, Robert's saying on beat one. With that question. Okay, Robert, that makes more sense. On beat one, don't start. Yeah, let me think about this. Yeah. I probably wouldn't do it. I don't. I think instinctively I don't, you know. Yeah, but to me, I never even think about that. I don't think that's a big deal starting on beat one. It's a great thought though. I'll have to do a little investigating of that. No, I start on the one. I've started on the one quite a bit, you know. One Eye is saying, play whatever the hell you want. Indeed. More of that, please. Play whatever the hell you want. It's true. You're an artist. You get to do whatever it is that you want. I hear people breaking rules all the time. And what I do? I do this. I go, what do they do? Oh, what is that? Oh, man, that's cool, you know, because someone's doing something different. They're playing the guitar unlike the way that you should, or they're plugging the pedals up differently than they should, or whatever. They're experimenting. It's like we've done so much now. What else can we do? That's what folks are doing now with music, is they're just really getting out there. They're just really experimenting, and I think that's beautiful. Oh, Riot, you're saying, okay, you say, I posted a video of Slash playing B.B. King live. Does it have anything to do with the blues you're teaching us? Riot, yes, it has everything to do with that video. In fact, these same licks, these same riffs that are in the PDF. What PDF, Eric? The one that's in the description of the video on YouTube and Facebook. Download it now if you haven't already. Just click on the link. You'll get it. It has everything to do with that, by all means, okay? Thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate that. When you say solid state, is that the same as a combo amp? No. Combo amp just means that the amplifier and the speaker are in the same unit, okay? It's in the same cabinet, as opposed to having an amp and then the speaker cabinet, okay? Like a stack, like a half stack or a full stack. You'll see there's the amplifier on top. That's the thing that powers the speakers that are on the bottom, and if you have another set of speakers, that's a double stack. How do you drill inversions into your head? Jeff is saying. Jeff, I find it best if you're working with a song that has the inversions in there, because the why is not big enough. If you're just like, oh, here's an inversion, and here I'm going to learn this. What I mean by the why is like, well, why do you want to play guitar? I've talked about this. Or why is it that you want to do anything? The answer to that helps so much with what it is that you're trying to do, where it is that you're trying to go, those sorts of things, okay? So, to me, if a song has an inversion, it's really going to drill it into your head more. Otherwise, it's just repetition, maybe going back and forth between a couple chords and your inversion. It's going to help a lot. Rory on YouTube is saying, Eric, you put so much great content out there. Can you tell me how I discovered the melody notes in chords? Thank you, Rory. I appreciate that, buddy. Can you tell me how to discover the melody notes in chords? Rory, I don't know what you mean by that, but I'll try to decipher that the best that I can. So, you know, when you play a chord, you're playing a combination of notes. So when I talk about playing, you know, knowing what the chord is so that you can play melodies all over the guitar, or when I say you will be more melodic when you're outlining the chord, or you have some idea as to what the chord is that's being played, then yes, then basically what I'm doing is I'm being cognizant really of the chords, of the notes in the chord that may be changing or that may be bringing something new to the scale. So for instance, if I'm playing A blues, I'm playing an A, it's an A7, D7, E7. So if I'm playing an A7 here, and I'm playing the blues scale, well, technically, 12-bar blues is in a major key, and we're using a minor scale. Shouldn't work. It does. That's another thing that gives blues its sound. But if I got this note in here, this note's not in the blues scale. Listen. I skip it. Here's the note. Sounds wrong, doesn't it? Well, it's in that chord. So like a lot of times what I'll do is I'll say, oh, that note's in there, that's different, so let's do something with it. You know, so that sort of thing. So I'll try to exploit that. When I'm going to the D7, that note is not in the blues scale, right? But what I'll do is I'll when that D7 chord comes around, what I'll do is I'll bend that note. Same thing with that E7. That note's not in the blues scale. Then what I'll do, I'll go to that E7. So I'll just think about, well, what if those chords that are being played, is it bringing anything new to the sound? And then I'll exploit that note. That takes some time, okay? It really does take some time to actually understand that. But once you get it, it starts becoming your vocabulary. Just like back in the day in vocabulary class, they would tell you to use that word several times. And if you didn't, then you're probably not going to use it in real life. So I used to do this all the time, and would find that I'd just be talking with somebody and I was searching for a word and it immediately came to me because I used it a little bit, okay? Okay, good, that's great. That's for Celeste. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Loved Judas Priest when I was a kid, and I still do. Does Vince Gill still play on Mondays at 3rd and Lindsley with the Time Jumpers? You know, I don't know if he does because now he's playing with the Eagles. So I don't know. But yes, what a great show. Vince Gill playing with the Time Jumpers is amazing. Is there a practice routine? Starfire saying, is there a practice routine that would help to be able to pick out the 5, 6, 7 out on the spot rather than just running through the scale? Yes, here's how to do this. Are you ready, Starfire? Super easy. Here's the one, okay? Here's the one. The 5 is almost always going to be right here, okay? Down 1 string, up 2 frets. So really you just memorize it. You go, well, that's the 5. The 6 is always a whole step up, so you could go that, or you could go right there. Here's the 5. And the 7 is always a half step behind the 1 if we're talking the major scale. So really it's just a matter of getting familiar with the major scale and then going, okay, there's the 5, and just like actualizing it, understanding it, and then that will help out a ton, you know. I've played with a bass player who only improvises every song. I think he is lazy because I have learned the note for notes and know that it takes a lot of work to do it right. Do you agree? I don't understand the question, Jeff. I've played with a bass player who only improvises every song. I think he's lazy because I've learned note for note and know that it takes a lot of work to do it right. Do you agree? No, not necessarily, Jeff, because learning something note for note is a different way of thinking, and that's great, but improvisation is a whole nother way of thinking. And typically, when you're bored of playing songs note for note, you really start improvising more, and you start kind of taking it up another level to where you're just like, I'm just going to, here are all these different variations. Here's how I'm going to do this, okay? So it's not lazy. He may be lazy. I don't know anything about him, but I'm just saying, if he's improvising and he's all over the place and doesn't sound right, then yeah, he's probably lazy because he's not playing the right part. But if it sounds good, no, in fact, it's another level of thinking. Riot is saying, another question, what is the meaning of playing over a chord? What that means, Riot, is if I'm playing an A chord, I'm just playing over it. I'm playing on top of it. So here's the chord playing. There was a D7 chord, I played over that one. So it just means you're playing on top of it. You're playing while the chord is being played. Does that make sense? When playing double stops, do certain notes sound better together, like the 1 and the 3 versus the 1 and the 5? Robert's asking. Better is a matter of opinion. It's subjective, so it just depends on the song. So I would say 1s and 5s or 1s and 4s are gonna sound better in blues. Those are 4s and 5s, whereas thirds are great for like pop and more diatonic type of stuff. Those middle notes are actually in the variant blues scales with the 3 notes in a row on the G, though, right? In the G. Oh, I don't know what you mean by variant of the blues scale. The blues scale does include, it includes the blue note, which are those 3 notes on the G like you're talking about there. Yeah. That's for Troy with Electric Eye. All right, what's the best starting point in blues? You're doing it right now, Connolly. It's like learning the rhythm parts, actually starting yesterday and then watching today, finishing up today, and then next week doing the solo bits and pieces, okay? What is my favorite guitar string? I really don't have a favorite. Several luthiers that I've spoken to said that there's really only 3 guitar string manufacturers and everybody else buys their strings from them and labels them. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard it from my personal guitar tech and my other personal guitar tech back in the day. Both those guys said the same thing. They're really knowledgeable. So they're kind of in the know. I would agree with that. So I think a lot of people are relabeling things because, I mean, how do you make a guitar string? It seems like it's a really difficult process. What do you use when the song hits the 4 chord? Jeff, it depends on what song I'm playing. If I'm playing blues, right? So let me do a little example here for you. If I'm playing the blues, that's the 1 chord. Here's the 4. 1 chord. Here's the 5 chord. 4. 5 chord. So here's a 1 chord, right? Now here's our 5 chord. So usually I'm just kind of messing around in the scale. Same thing with the scale here, but I've got this note. But with that 5 chord here, so all of a sudden I've got this new note that comes in. So usually I try to exploit in the case of the blues scale, it's a half step below your tonic. So in this case here, it's an A flat. That's what I like to do when that 5 chord comes along. I love that sound. It's really cool. Okay. That was a great question, by the way. Oh, I missed one. Can you play the major third and the flat third at the same time? 1, 3. You can, but it's not going to sound good. The 3. Oh, I see what you're saying here. Yeah, you can if you're talking higher extensions. You can do anything you want, and there's a lot of notes that you could play at the same time that normally wouldn't sound good, but when you separate them by an octave, then they sound okay. All right. I don't know where you're hearing that chord, One Eye Monster, but it's very there's a potential that would be something. That'd be like that's what we would call a sharp 9 chord. So a 1, a 3, a flat 7, and a sharp 9. So let's analyze this right here. So we got, if we have a 9, it's basically a 2. So here's a 2. Or here's a 2. Yeah, so you're talking the Hendrix chord right there. So that's a 1, 3. So basically that's called a 7. It'd be called the dominant 7th. Or it has a dominant 7th in it, and then it's got a sharp 9 in there. Some people would just call that a sharp 9 chord. So, but in reality, it would be a 7 sharp 9. Okay, because you would have the 7 in there. I'm sorry. Where's the 7? Here it is, and the sharp 9. Is that right? Hold on. I want to make sure I'm not lying to you. There's the 1, here's the 2. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, indeed, that's exactly what you would call it. So you wouldn't call it the major third and the flat third or minor third. You would just call it the sharp 9. But you wouldn't have them right on top of each other because you'd get that type of sound. And do you like that? I don't. So don't do that because that's bad. Okay, good questions. Good questions today, man. You guys are bringing it. Oh, I didn't mean a favorite guitar string maker. I meant, do you like the E? Oh, well, do I have a favorite string? No, I don't. I don't have a favorite string. I mean, I could insert a joke there, but I shan't. Marty Schwartz made a video ranking the strings best to worst, and I was curious. I don't know. I'll have to see that video. It might have been a joke video. Maybe he was just messing with you. Maybe it was like a April Fool's joke or something. I don't know anything about that. I'll have to check it out. Okay, I've been wanting to tune down a half step, but when I do, I have to go see a guy so he can readjust the whole gizmo. Or can I just retune it without worrying about it? No, Celeste, usually tuning down a half step isn't going to do anything. Okay. It's not gonna mess it, and it won't mess with your Les Paul. You can take all the strings off; it's not gonna mess with it. I play that chord, but with the pinky directly below, and you have it 1 fret up. Well, the Hendrix chord, you know, what they call the Hendrix chord for Purple Haze. And I apologize because it sounds terrible on this guitar. But that chord you're playing like this is a 9 chord, whereas this is a sharp 9 chord. That's also known as the 2 of the scale. 1, 1, 2, and there it is up an octave, okay? Okay, great. Bumping back over to Facebook here. We got about 5 minutes, my friends. Really quickly, Please share this video right now. Share it in some way. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Share it, because doing so, you are allowing other people to know what's going on here. You're sharing. And there's a little thing called karma. Whether you believe it or not, there's something about it that works. There's something about it that's true, okay? I just know that mean people always get theirs and nice people always get theirs. And if you want to spread some love, then do that. Please spread some love by sharing this video, okay? Do that right now. And it will also give you a chance to win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365. Only thing you got to do is share it. We look afterwards and we search for somebody random. We do it a lot. We've given away 11 this week. That's $4,400 worth of lessons. Bam! Okay, questions. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to see what's at the top here. Sorry. Remember Mike Campbell, he was with Tom Petty. I hear he is with Fleetwood Mac now, and that Lindsey Buckingham has left. Have you heard this? I have not, Jeff. Can you name a few inexpensive amps that cost less than $300? Mason, check out my link. Check out my kit store, kit.com/YourGuitarSage. There's the link right there. And I know we have some amps in there that are more affordable. But one of the amps off the top of my head, and Chris, if this isn't up there already, we should put it in there, is the Boss Katana 50. Boss Katana. It's spelled Katana 50. And it's about a $240 amp, something like that. $50, something like that. It's a great little amp, okay? So check that out. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff by Van Halen. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay. We got about 4 minutes here. Okay, bumping back over to YouTube. Last bit of questions here. Thank you so much for sharing. You guys rule. Here's an extra dose of karma. Right? Can I do that? Sure, I just did. Thank you so much for that. I truly appreciate that. Do you ever have a course on playing bar chords with the thumb over the top of the neck like Hendrix and John Frusciante? Rory, I do. Inside UGS, I talk about that. I do. And again, if you don't want to pay, well, if you want to try it out, you can do that for $1. If you don't want to pay for the course, that's right. It's $200 off today. It ends at midnight. So I'll mention that one more time before we leave here. On YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage Thumb. I think I've got a video for that on YouTube on how to think about that, how to grab that. Okay. PRS or Gibson based on your preference. I like Gibson, but it doesn't matter what I think because it's just subjective, you know. Everybody's different. You know the pattern you use to go up an octave, 2 strings. Is there a pattern for going the other way? Yep, go the opposite way. Go backwards 2 frets and up 2 strings. That's it, Randy. Just do it backwards. Down 2 strings, up 2 frets. Go down 2 frets, up 2 strings. I'll say it again. Normally we've got this note. We go down 2 frets, or down 2 strings, up 2 frets. Do it the other way around. Go down 2 strings, or go down 2 frets, up 2 strings. It's just the same exact thing. Just think about it backwards. All right. Good questions. How does covering guitar solos improve someone's playing? Well, if you're the lead guitar player in the band and here comes the solo and there's no solo, then if you did put a solo there, then people would go, hey, that guy's good. And if you didn't, then he'd be like, well, I thought he was the solo guitar player. What's up with that? So that's how covering guitar solos would improve someone's playing. Now, if you mean, you know, like learning other people's solos, how does that improve your playing? It's because this. When you were a child and somebody said, they touched the hot stove and they said, ow, and you saw that reaction, well, automatically when you get hurt as a child, you go, ow, and you have that same reaction. Why? Because you learned by mimicking, okay? And in the same way, bongaholic, in the same exact way, when you learn a guitar solo, you're not only learning the riffs that soloist created, but you're also learning the licks that he created those licks from whoever. So if you're learning a Jimmy Page solo, you're learning Robert Johnson licks because he loved Robert Johnson and inserted that stuff in his playing all the time. So that's a great question. And you'll be learning, when I'm playing solos here, it's like I'm not really playing Stairway to Heaven, but I'm pulling licks out all the time from it. So, but I could go. Well, that note's not gonna sound right good, but here we go. So I can literally take licks out of Stairway to Heaven or any AC/DC tune or something like that. Blues-wise, put it in here, and it's not really going to sound like I'm playing that solo. It's going to sound like I'm doing my own thing because of everything that's going on in the background and all the rest. So it gives you a bunch of new things to work with. Okay, my friends, I'd love to keep going, but alas, I cannot. I've got... We've got to go. I've got to make other videos for you. We got other things to do. So, friends, last thing here, please share this. Number one, share this. Do that. That will let other people know about it. Make sure if you haven't already, download the PDF. It's 31 pages. It's chock full of amazing stuff for you. You should have downloaded already. If you didn't, do it now. It's in the description of the video. If Instagram's still here, thanks for hanging out there, my friends. Thanks for the amazing questions. If you haven't already, listen to me, friends. You've got 3 opportunities to learn from me. From everything that I've ever taught and will teach down to some lesser things. Okay, here's the deal. The offer that we've got going on today, it ends today. I said it ended tomorrow. I'm sorry, I thought it was Thursday. I do a lot of Thursday broadcasts, not a lot of Wednesdays. And that was like my second or third one that I've ever done. Thought it was Thursday. Thursday is normally when we end our deals like this. But we're ending it today at midnight. If you want me to hand you a $200 coupon to have lessons for the rest of your life, nearly 1,000 videos, nearly 600 jam tracks. If you want that $200 coupon, then go to this URL right here, YourGuitarSage.com/practiceAugust. It will literally give you access into both the Unstoppable Guitar System and the Daily 365 Practice. This is basically 7 different areas of practice over 7 different days, graduating 52 times. There's 52 weeks in the year too. Coincidence? I think not. So you graduate 52 different times over a year, and by the end of this year, you're doing amazing things that you never thought that you would be able to do, but you didn't even know because I'm starting you off simple, okay? The testimonies inside this course, you would flip out. In fact, anybody in 365 or UGS, let folks know about that right now so they know I'm not pulling their leg. This is not snake oil. It's the real deal. If you're in the course right now, please give a shout out on Facebook or YouTube and let folks know how much it means to you. I would really truly appreciate that. Thank you. So right now, normally that's $400. We're doing it for $199 right now. That's literally a $200 off. It's half off, and I promise you, it really will go away tonight at midnight. Okay. Now, if you're like, I can't afford that right now, I need some sort of payment method, we've been listening to you, and we're doing that now. For 3 payments, $79. It's a little bit more, of course, because we are rewarding those folks that are taking the opportunity today to get the whole course. Either way, it's all 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you get in there and you hate it, which you're not gonna, you're absolutely gonna love it. If you were to not like it, we'll give you 100% of your money back, no questions asked, okay? Now, there's that, there's the $199, there's the $79, there's even the How to Practice Guitar. I believe that's still available normally. I think that's $20, it's $5 right now. You can get to that from the same link right here. If you're like, Eric, this is my first time watching you, I really appreciate you giving me $200 today and setting me up with lessons for the rest of my life. I really, truly appreciate that, but I'm still in the dating period here and I don't know you quite yet. I want to know more about you. Then please, if you're in the course right away, it's got the money back guarantee, but I understand that. You may not believe that. So here's what I can offer you. $1 access to everything that you would be getting if you bought the course today. You're going to get it for 30 days. After 30 days is what's going to happen. You either are in the program at the other price, not the $199 price, at the $400 price, or whatever system you set up. If you set monthly up, or by the 3 payment method, or the one-time method, whatever you set up, that's what's going to happen if you don't get out before 30 days. So you have 30 days to cancel, okay? But you can do that for $1 at this same location here, okay? Everything's there. Go there, okay? And then the very last thing is, if you're like, Eric, I have $0, I have anti-dollars, okay? I cannot do anything. But I still want to learn from you. Okay, you've got 1,000-something videos on YouTube. You've got the free course. You've got these meetings where I'm meeting with you every single week, at least twice a week, so 8 times, plus the live broadcast on the weekends that we do sometimes. You're talking like 9 times that we're meeting, along with 1,000-something videos and a free ebook and a free course. Now, here's the deal. The free course, it's free. No questions asked. It's there for eternity. You can have it forever. I don't care. It's there to help you. YourGuitarSage.com/30. I created that because I got so many questions about guitar, just like now, that 99% of those, well, maybe not 99, probably about 95% of the questions can be answered in that free course. It's not free because it's not worth anything. It's about $1,000 worth of lessons if you visited me one-on-one, but it's there for you for free because I cannot reach everybody at once. As much as I try to do it, I cannot do it. So it's there for you to learn. And if that's all you ever do is learn to be a badass guitar player from taking that free course, then I'm happy. Okay, my friends? Got lots of stuff for you. Take advantage of it. Don't just sit there. You just went through a whole hour or two with me. Get up to the next level, whether it's for $1 or free or otherwise, the $200 off today. Do something today. Make a daggone commitment to yourself if you're serious about guitar. If you're not serious about guitar, that's okay. But if you're serious about guitar, make a commitment, move up to the next level. If you're going to be in the course, I have a lot of new folks hitting me up saying hi and what have you, and we talk all day long. So there you go. Leave your questions in there. And thank you so much, my friends. I truly appreciate you. I'm out of here.